What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector, and I'm your host, The Bearded One. I am taking in some low-hanging fruit to put a video out. Been kind of hungry to put a video out, and I was perusing YouTube, and I came across another Bearded Comic Bro and Cole's cover challenge. This time, the cover challenge is to do heroes. The only two rules are that it's got to be a book you own, and it's got to be relevant to the topic. So they've got to be heroes. And so I found that kind of interesting, an interesting challenge. And so I put it upon myself to say, I'm not going to do Etrigan, the demon, and I'm not going to do Lobo, the main man, because they're not heroes. So that's a rule, a stipulation I've given myself. And let's get the camera rolling. By the way, Bearded Comic Bro did 10 issues. I pulled out more than 10 issues, so I'll try to be a little quick. But if you've watched this channel for a while, I do get kind of long-winded, and I like to talk about my books. So first up, DC Special, The Return of Donna Troy, #1. I've celebrated this book plenty of times. I can't say enough about how gorgeous this book is. Jose Garcia Luis Lopez. Oh, I can't remember how to say his name. Forgive me, guys. One of the GOATs in the comic industry. I always wondered about the hype about this guy. Never even knowing my Jonah Hex #1 from Volume 1 Jonah Hex is another Jose Lopez cover. But here, I mean, I just love the aesthetic of the stars and the space in her dress and in her hair. Massive detail in these asteroids. The background here gets my space nerdery off. And then, you know, there's a city right here in this hollow asteroid. It's just a beautiful, beautiful cover. Next up, we got X-Force 19, if I can pull it up. I'm becoming a big fan of Green Dress, Jean Grey. I love this costume. I'm so glad they reinvented Jean Grey and her costume. She's an Omega level telepath, for those of you who don't know a lot about Jean Grey, although everybody watching this video, I would assume you know who Jean Grey is already. And I think it's a pretty provocative cover with this monsterized version of the X-Force. You know, and they're like playing on her mind, like she's being mind controlled almost, and she can't take it. I mean, it's just an instant classic cover. The white background is pretty fun too. Next up, we got TMNT 124. I've talked about this cover before, and it's the best. It's outright my favorite cover that I own. There's plenty of much better TMNT covers, but as far as what's in my collection, can't go wrong with this. I love the snow and the gargoyle and just how dark and cold this issue feels. Yeah, really good issue or cover. Next up, we probably have the Green Lantern cover, in my opinion. Green Lantern 49. Got a freaky face on Hal Jordan. Daryl Banks, I believe, did the cover. And Daryl Banks did a fantastic job of showing the emotion here. The crazed look of Hal Jordan. You can tell he's not really happy. It's more of a psychotic break kind of look. And here he's wearing the rings of fallen lanterns. Yeah, one of the best Green Lantern covers there is. Next up, we got a guy I'm no longer in the closet about. My favorite Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. This has kind of been the year of Kyle Rayner. And this is his first cover. I wouldn't say, maybe it's not the best Kyle Rayner cover, but it's one that I own, and I still like it nonetheless. Next up, we got Mr. Miracle 19. I just love these two. I hope we get to see him in the James Gunn verse. I think it's pretty. In this image, just kind of shows the relationship Big Barda and Mr. Miracle have. How Big Barda is the strong, dominant one. She does a lot of protecting of Mr. Miracle, and that he's kind of the support character that supports and encourages and provides a lot of emotional support to Big Barda. Although Mr. Miracle is a superhero in his own right, he's a new god in his own right, and he's no slouch. Next up, we got Spawn 43. I just love all the bats here and the night background. I kind of like Spawn's cape or Spawn's body blending into the background, and we just get the full cape here. I love Spawn covers with the cape, and while this may not be my personal favorite, I think Spawn 1 is my personal favorite comic. I just wanted to go a little unorthodox here, and this is definitely top 3, top 5 covers for me in the series, and definitely worth pulling out for a cover challenge. Next up, we got Wolverine number 12 from volume 3, I think, and these Jay Lee covers are, these Jay Lee covers are some of the best covers of all time, on this Wolverine run. Again, not my favorite cover of the Jay Lee Wolverine covers. Number 1, again, Wolverine number 1 is my favorite cover, but this is kind of similar to that, and I really like this issue, this cover anyways. Next up, we got Moon Knight 14. Don't know who did the cover, but I just really like the oils and the pastels here. I like how it's kind of gritty and dark, and none of the details get washed up in the oils. I guess it looks like maybe not an oil painting, but pastels. Next up, we got Uncanny X-Men 290. What can I say about this cover? For the longest time, Storm was Bay. For some odd reason, I've moved on from Storm, but I've never been able to move on from this cover. Just a beautiful cover. I need to read this arc. I think I have 289 or 291, and you see what this is about. Still love Storm, and I'm hoping one day to get back into Storm. Next up, we got a cover that I feel like is from a series that you cannot, if you're going to have a hero cover challenge, I feel like you have to have both a cover from this artist and a cover from this series, and that is Justice Society of America number 5. I chose him. It's the only cover I own from this series for now. It's definitely going to change, but I'm becoming a big Wesley Dodds Sandman fan, and I just think Alex Ross knocked this cover out of the park. Sandman's never looked more cool. Next up, we got Kick-Ass 3, issue number 8. Now, we're talking about art here, not the story. I think the story is pretty fantastic. This was a... Okay, we got it. There was some poetic justice here for Kick-Ass in the issue. Really good story. I personally don't like John Romita Jr. I think John Romita Jr. is hot garbage. I really do. He draws a lot of straight line draws. He draws eyebrows in a way that just makes me think, they deserve a unibrow. Just his characterization just makes me think of caveman. Like all he can draw is mongoloids or something. And his body proportions are way off. But I feel like, I had to feature a cover with Hit Girl on here. I love Hit Girl. She's my favorite character in this Kick-Ass universe. And I feel like this is one of the best John Romita Jr. covers because I feel like it hides a lot of what I don't like about John Romita Jr., which feels like everything. even though it's not. Next up, we got All-Star Section 8, number 1. This cover, I just love this cover because I don't like Batman. I'm probably a Batman hater. I love Bruce Timm Batman. I love Adam West Batman. I love Christian Bale Batman. But I hate Batman in the comics. I read a Justice League Last Ride story arc last year, I believe. And Batman was telling one of the members of the Justice League how he can run for like 3 days on 3 hours of sleep. Really. And then he also said he can control his dreams. It's just so hard to take Batman seriously when he's got a technique that he's trained for every situation, or a gadget for every situation. He's the boring one. Everybody likes to say Superman is the boring character. Batman's the interesting one, and I completely disagree with that. And this cover is just kind of feeds into things I don't like about Batman. I think it's pretty awesome the way Six-Pack here is writing on the back signal. And, you know, if you don't know anything about this, All-Star Section 8 comes out of the Hitman run from the 90s that Garth Ennis did. And what feels like 7 or 8 years ago now, Garth Ennis came back to do 2 miniseries with All-Star Section 8. And I just love how he picks on the main roster of characters with his All-Star Section 8 cast. Next up, we got Future Quest number 1. Not my favorite Space Ghost cover. Alex Ross obviously has done my favorite Space Ghost cover. But this is the one I own. You know, and I've also got Harvey Birdman and Minotaur here. Just a good, solid cover. I love Space Ghost kind of being the focal point here with his fists lighting up. And just a good throwback to this, you know, the vintage era of superheroes. So rounding it out, we got 2 comic books here left. And just to reiterate, I did follow the rules. I did not put Etrigan the Demon or Lobo in this list. So we have Justice League Incarnate number 2, Super Demon. What more can I say? So sick. This is the Forness variant of Justice League Incarnate number 2, the cardstock variant. I don't cover Chase, but I had to get this. I had to get both Super Demon covers from JLI number 2. This one happens to be my favorite. And then last but not least, and it's not a Lobo book, it is Superbo 60. Because we had to do superheroes. I don't want to hear any lip from any of you guys. I followed the rules. I did not do anything Lobo or anything Etrigan. Super Demon and Superbo are 2 different things. That is an honest to goodness Superbo issue. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this list. You know, I can't do anything without my favorite character on a list. And here he is as a superhero. Follow the rules. And if you're not familiar with Bearded Comic Bros challenge, go find his channel and look up his hero cover challenge. But I challenge all you guys out there as well, on top of Bearded Comic Bro, to join in on the challenge and throw up your hero covers. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, guys.